I'm here at a very busy Circle K in Gastonia, which is southwest section of the Charlotte metropolitan area, where two brand new DC fast chargers are getting installed. Circle K is at the forefront. They actually own all the properties where their stores exist, and they're pretty popular with putting DC fast chargers in throughout Europe, where they have stores as well. In the United States, the DC fast charger network at Circle K's are pretty limited, just starting, and this is one of the first sites here in Northwest Charlotte. Gonna go through the rest of the DC fast charging networks that are getting ready to come online here in just a few minutes. The business community has caught on that EVs are the wave of the future, and they figure out a way they could capitalize on that is to put in DC fast chargers at their locations. So a lot of national brands have announced that they're putting in DC fast chargers at their locations throughout the United States. Going to run down the list of who those are that have current active plans to put in DC fast chargers at their locations. 7-Eleven has something called 7Charge. Subway has something called the Subway Oasis, which will also put chargers at store locations, but they're also going to be building out these things called Oasises. Taco Bell has paired up with a company called ChargeNet to put in chargers at Taco Bell locations. Mercedes has an initiative to put in charging hubs in major metropolitan areas. General Motors has partnered with EVgo and Pilot and Flying J, the truck stop brands, in order to put DC fast chargers on interstate corridors at the truck stop locations, Pilot and Flying J. Circle K has a pretty large deployment of DC fast chargers in Europe, and they're bringing that to the States. The last one is Electrify America has something called Electrify America Commercial, and the truck stop brand TravelCenters of America, or you might know them as a white logo that says TA. They have plans to do a nationwide deployment of Electrify America Commercial. So I'm going to go over each one of those in depth. I didn't know this before I started watching EV road trip videos on YouTube, but Circle K has stores in Europe. A lot of them also have DC fast chargers. EV road tripper Bjorn Nigel does quite a few EV road trips in the northern portion of Europe, and when he pulls into Circle K's, there's oftentimes a DC fast charger waiting for him. These are company-run locations. It's not the case in the United States, but they did start doing a similar type of program for stores in the United States. They actually own the property that their stores operate off of, so it makes it a little bit easier to deploy these DC fast chargers. Their claim to fame is that they've got free Wi-Fi, they're open 24 hours, and the restrooms are available. Obviously, you get snacks and drinks. It's also safe because there's an attendant there 24/7, so if you ever get into trouble, you can go inside and the attendant will be able there to assist you. So, Circle K is looking pretty good. Not to be outdone by their rival, 7-Eleven has a very similar program to Circle K. The difference is they don't have as much experience as Circle K does from their history in Europe. However, they're giving it a very good college try and putting DC fast chargers almost identical to what Circle K is putting into their locations. It might be in the future what you do when you go to get your slushie. Instead of filling up with gas, you just plug your car in and sit around for 10 minutes inside an air-conditioned 7-Eleven during the hot summer months and get some juice, monitor it on your iPhone, check your social media and email, finish the Slurpee with your brain freeze, go back out to your car and on your trip. Sounds pretty close to heaven if you ask me. The luxury car brand Mercedes apparently assessed the infrastructure for DC fast charging in the United States and decided that it wasn't sufficient for their customers, took the initiative, and decided to start deploying their own DC fast charging network. It's going to be open to all car brands, not just Mercedes, unlike the Rivian network, which is mostly just for Rivians, and the Tesla network, which is mostly just for Teslas. The Mercedes network is going to be built on ChargePoint DC fast charger hardware and open to all EVs. They're going to be targeting major metropolitan area in what they call charging hubs. You could see a artist rendering in the picture behind. So there may be a select number of these throughout the United States showing up in the next coming year. Taco Bell has partnered with a charging company called ChargeNet and have deployed their first electrified restaurant. The goal would be obviously to have customers show up, have a place to charge their electric vehicles while they come in and have some delicious fast Mexican food. Not a bad business plan if you ask me, because your car is charging, you can't really leave, you need something to do, might as well get a taco or two. I'm perfectly fine with sitting down and eating a couple of churros as well. Sounds like a good idea. They have put their first one in, although Taco Bells are franchises and actually don't own the property their restaurants sit on, at least from what I understand, most of the case. So it might be a little bit charging to actually get this hardware in the ground, but we'll see. The United States has many truck stop brands, one of which is the one called TA. You might notice it from its iconic red, white, and blue TA square signs as you cruise down the interstate. TravelCenters of America has decided to take the initiative to get DC fast chargers at their locations by working with Electrify America's commercial division in order to get chargers that TA will own, but will be part of the Electrify America network. So you kind of get both benefits. You get to brand the chargers according to your marketing iconography, and so you wrap the chargers in those types of marketing images, and you also get to put them wherever you want with the benefit of being a part of the Electrify America network. So it sounds like a win-win. Of all the ones that I've gone over so far, this one feels the most gimmicky. The reason being is there's some question about the motives of Subway, whether or not they're actually going to be able to pull this off, or if it's just some kind of ploy to garner additional funding or possibly a purchase of the restaurant organization behind Subway. So there's some speculation this might not actually take place. The proposal is that Subway is going to build these park-like locations where you could eat a nice foot-long Subway sandwich at, and they'll have electric chargers available. Apparently they're going to be close to Subway restaurants, and in some circumstances actually adjacent to Subway restaurants. Now, because Subway franchises don't have property that they own, I think this is going to be a tremendous challenge, and that's why there's a lot of speculation that this isn't actually an authentic plan, but it's more like a wish to have, and they're trying to get on the bandwagon. Regardless, it might turn out well, and we might all be eating Subway sandwiches at parks with electric chargers. To be candid, this one hurt my feelings a little bit. I had a lot of high hopes pinned on the GM plan to roll out DC fast chargers at Pilot Flying J locations, which are travel centers for truckers that have great amenities across the United States. You look at the infograph and there's lots of pin drops there, and it looked like it could rival the Tesla supercharger network. The problem is none of these have gone in the ground yet, and this has just been an announcement for a very long time. Plus, GM recently announced that they're cutting $2 billion and laying off employees, and I have a hard time believing they're going to come up with the cash to start putting DC fast chargers in the ground at all these locations. I don't know where they're going to get the money from. The federal government is supposed to help in some extent, but still, it sounds like this might be a bust, which really would be a bummer, because just look at all that cheddar. So many DC fast chargers. Back end would have been EVgo payment processing and EVgo charging hardware locations at Pilot Flying J, and Ultium Charge 360 was going to be the brand name of the network. It doesn't appear as though it's going to happen. I've checked PlugShare, have not seen a single location get turned on yet. And as I said, we had announcements of layoffs. So that's the video. Hope everyone enjoyed and hope you learned a little something new.